All right, Ravens fans, let's talk about what's really going down in Baltimore right now, because things are getting seriously interesting. You can feel that spark again, that buzz that only happens when a move actually feels right for this team. Draymond Jones has arrived, and from the jump, you can tell he's bringing that kind of high-energy vibe that perfectly fits what this Ravens defense is all about. He said himself that he's loving the energy inside the building, loving the people, loving the approach. And honestly, that matters. When a guy like that walks in and already feels the rhythm of the locker room, it's a good sign that he's about to blend right in and make some noise on the field. The Ravens have always prided themselves on being a defense that hits fast, hits hard, and never lets up. But even with all the blitzing they've been doing this season, the truth is they've been missing that one-on-one dominance, the kind of pressure that doesn't rely on sending the whole house. Draymond Jones can change that. He's got the versatility to move inside or outside, disrupt plays before they even get going. And that's exactly what this defensive front has been begging for. Baltimore doesn't just need bodies, they need difference makers. And Jones looks like a guy ready to deliver. Now, a lot of fans were disappointed the Ravens didn't make a huge, headline-grabbing move at the trade deadline. Everyone wanted that massive splash, that blockbuster deal for a superstar. But let's be honest, no one really expected the front office to throw away a first-round pick to get someone like Quinnen Williams. What they did instead was a smart, calculated move that fits the Ravens' way, something that makes sense both now and long-term. And that's where Draymond Jones comes in. It might not have been the flashiest trade of the week, but it's one of those under-the-radar signings that can end up defining a season. John Harbaugh actually talked about it and made it clear that this wasn't some last-minute idea. This deal had been in the works for a while, which means Jones was their guy all along. That tells you everything about how much they wanted him. Harbaugh said he's a great fit for the system, and that's not just coach talk. Draymond's been playing in a very similar scheme over the last few years, so there's no steep learning curve here. He can pick things up quickly and hit the ground running. The plan is for him to play right away, get a rhythm going, and start contributing from Sunday. That's big, because when a player can slot right in like that, it speaks volumes about how confident the staff is in his ability to adapt and make an impact. Harbaugh also mentioned something that caught my attention: Draymond's versatility. He hasn't been used that way much this year, but Baltimore clearly plans to unlock that side of his game again. That's the beauty of this move. Tennessee wasn't really leaning into his full potential, but the Ravens are all about maximizing what a player can do. They're going to move him around, find those matchups, and let him hunt. And let's not forget, this defense has been getting better week after week. The chemistry is building, the communication is sharper, and you can feel that edge coming back. Adding a guy like Jones just throws more gasoline on that fire. And speaking of good news, how about that clean injury report? Not a single player listed, everyone participating fully in practice. You almost never see that in the middle of the season, especially in November. The Ravens even joked about it by posting no graphic at all, just a simple statement: everyone's good to go. That might sound small, but when you think about how beat up this team was a month ago, that's huge. Lamar Jackson was out, key defenders were banged up, and the roster looked like a patchwork. Now they're back to full strength. A healthy 53-man roster ready to roll. That's rare, and it's dangerous for whoever's on the schedule next. It's kind of wild to think how much can change in just a few weeks. Early in the season, Baltimore was sitting at 3-5, and people were already sounding alarms. A lot of that was due to injuries, and when you lose a quarterback like Lamar Jackson for any stretch of time, things are going to get rough. But now, that's all in the past. Lamar is back, he's fully healthy, and he looks like himself again, maybe even better. This isn't a version of Lamar that's limited or hesitant. We're seeing the full Lamar experience right now. The speed, the poise, the control, it's all clicking. What's really impressed me this season is how much Lamar has evolved. Every year, he adds something new to his game. When he first came into the league, it was all about the athleticism, the highlight runs, the "how did he just do that" moments. But now you're seeing a complete quarterback, someone who reads defenses, stays calm under pressure, and makes the right decisions again and again. He's not forcing plays. He's trusting his reads, trusting his protection, and trusting his guys. That patience has turned him into one of the lowest mistake players in football right now. He's barely turning the ball over, and that composure is what's separating him from so many others in the league. The funny part is, despite Lamar playing at such a high level, The Ravens' record doesn't really show how good this offense has been. Scoring points hasn't been the issue. Remember those back-to-back 40-point games early in the season? Then another 30-plus against Detroit? The offense is moving the ball and putting up numbers. The problem has been that they've had to rely on Lamar to do everything. When your quarterback has to score 40 points just to keep you in the game, that's not sustainable. But the encouraging thing is that the offense is starting to balance out. Lamar's spreading the ball around more, getting everyone involved. Zay Flowers has been his go-to guy, sure, but the ball distribution lately has been much more even. And when Lamar's able to keep defenses guessing like that, this offense hits another level entirely. Now, let's talk about that little stat that always seems to pop up, Lamar Jackson's record against NFC teams. It's wild how dominant he's been in those matchups. A big part of that is simply because there's nobody else quite like him. There isn't an NFC version of Lamar Jackson. You can try to find comparisons, but it never really matches up. Defenses in the NFC don't get to see someone with his blend of speed, vision, and arm talent on a regular basis. They study him on tape, they prepare for the scramble drills, and they think they've got him figured out. Then the game starts, and he's gone, literally. He just blows past angles that looked perfect in film sessions. The only teams that have really had consistent success against him are the ones that see him twice a year. The Steelers are a perfect example. They've built their defensive identity around stopping Lamar because they face him so often. They've figured out tendencies, they've learned what not to do. But when teams from outside the AFC North face him, it's a completely different story. They're not used to his tempo, his decision-making, or how quickly he turns a broken play into a 20-yard gain. That unfamiliarity gives Baltimore a massive advantage in cross-conference games. What's even more fascinating is how Lamar's learned to counter things that used to bother him. Remember that 2021 game in Miami? Brian Flores threw blitz after blitz after blitz, and you could see Lamar getting frustrated. It was one of those rare nights where he looked rattled. But he went back, studied, and figured it out. Since then, his ability to handle pressure has completely changed. Now, when defenses bring extra rushers, he stays cool. He'll step up, slide out, buy time, and find someone open downfield. Or he'll just take off and make you pay with his legs. Either way, you're losing. That's what makes him so dangerous. There's no easy way to contain him. Keep him in the pocket? Fine, he's one of the best pocket passers in the league right now. Flush him out. Great. Now you're giving him space to improvise and break your defensive structure. He's become a nightmare to game plan against. And the scariest part is that he's not even taking risks to do it. He's not throwing reckless passes or running into trouble. He's just playing smart, efficient football while still being electrifying. So with all that coming together, the new energy from Draymond Jones, the defense getting healthy, the offense finding its rhythm again, and Lamar Jackson back in full command, the Ravens are starting to look like a problem for the rest of the league. The record might not scream dominant right now, but anyone paying attention can see it. Baltimore is heating up at the perfect time. The roster's deep, the locker room's confident, and the stars are healthy. When those three things line up for the Ravens, history tells us they're capable of anything. And with this schedule tightening up heading into the heart of November, that's exactly the version of Baltimore that nobody wants to face. Now, flipping the focus to how this Ravens offense matches up against what Minnesota is bringing on defense, things start to get even more intriguing. The Vikings under Brian Flores have developed a really distinct personality this season. They're aggressive, creative, and love to disguise their looks. It's that same trademark Flores style. Show pressure from every angle, send it half the time, and confuse quarterbacks into mistakes. It's been working for them against certain teams, but when you've got a quarterback like Lamar Jackson on the other side, that high-risk approach can backfire in a big way. You can't just throw chaos at Lamar and expect him to crumble anymore. He's evolved too much for that. That 2021 game when Flores was in Miami, that was the wake-up call. They blitzed the life out of Lamar that night, and he didn't have answers for it. But that version of Lamar doesn't exist anymore. Since then, he's mastered how to read pressure pre-snap, how to set protections, and how to use that aggressiveness against defenses. You bring the heat, he finds the open lane. You play contain, he picks you apart from the pocket. That's the catch-22 of playing Baltimore right now. Whatever you choose, they've got a counter ready. And that's where Derrick Henry changes everything. Baltimore didn't bring him in just to run downhill. They brought him in to give defenses a completely different problem to solve. When you face Lamar alone, your whole defense is focused on stopping one guy. But when you add Henry to the mix, suddenly linebackers are guessing, safeties are creeping up, and that opens up passing windows that didn't exist before. Minnesota has been struggling this year when opponents use heavy personnel against them, 2 or 3 tight ends, extra linemen, pounding the rock up the middle. Teams have been forcing them into those bigger defensive sets, and that's not where they want to live. The Vikings' defense is built on speed, not size. They want to blitz, move around, and swarm. But when you go heavy against them, you slow the game down and make them play your style. That's exactly what Baltimore wants to do. So don't be surprised if the Ravens go all in on that identity. Load up the line, keep the tight ends in, and let Henry pound away until those linebackers start biting hard on play action. Because that's where Lamar really kills you, when he can fake the handoff, roll out, and hit Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely right behind a defense that just stepped 1 yard too far forward. Andrews is the perfect safety valve for those situations. He's been heating up again, finding the end zone, and reminding everyone why he's one of the best tight ends in football. And the more Andrews eats underneath, the more the deep shots open up for Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and even Nelson Aguilar on those sneaky seam routes. If the offensive line can hold up even halfway decently, that combination of run power and play action can absolutely shred a defense like Minnesota's. The problem early in the season for Baltimore was exactly that. The line just wasn't holding its ground. The guard play was shaky. Guys were getting pushed back into Lamar's lap, and it didn't matter who was in the backfield because no one could get momentum going. But now, with the line healthier and communication improving, you can see them starting to gel. They're not perfect, but they're winning enough battles to keep the offense moving. And when Lamar has time, even a little time, good luck stopping him. The other thing the Ravens have quietly been doing better is managing down and distance. It's not flashy, but it's the backbone of their offensive rhythm. They're staying out of 3rd and longs, which keeps defenses from pinning their ears back and going after Lamar. 2nd and manageable, 3rd and short, that's the sweet spot. That's where they can mix things up, where you can't guess what's coming. And that's been a big shift from earlier weeks when they were constantly behind the chains because of penalties or blown blocks. They're cleaning that up now, and that's why the offense looks smoother. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. Whispers are spreading through the NFL community after a recent, eyebrow-raising comment from Baltimore Ravens head coach John Harbaugh. Sources close to the team claim that Harbaugh was unusually blunt during a press interaction, reportedly telling one of his own players, "You're not playing with me anymore." The statement, casual yet loaded with tension, has ignited a firestorm of speculation among fans and pundits alike. Which player was on the receiving end of such a stark declaration remains a mystery, but the implications are enough to keep the rumor mill running at full speed. The Ravens, a team known for its disciplined approach and strong locker room culture, rarely witness such publicized cracks in the relationship between coach and player. Analysts are already dissecting the possibilities. Was it an emotional response to a string of poor performances, or a sign of deeper friction behind closed doors? Some insiders suggest that Harbaugh, who has been at the helm for nearly 2 decades, might be reaching the end of his patience with a veteran who has struggled to meet expectations. Others argue it could be a power play, a strategic move to send a message to the entire roster about accountability and commitment. Fans have taken to social media, speculating wildly about the identity of the player and what this could mean for the team's prospects this season. Could this be the start of a trade, or merely an internal shakeup meant to refocus the squad? Historically, Harbaugh has been fiercely protective of his players in public, making this comment all the more shocking. The tension has set the stage for an intriguing subplot to the Ravens season, one that could have ripple effects on team morale, media coverage, and even the front office's next moves. Despite the lack of official confirmation, the buzz is unmistakable. Sports radio shows are teeming with debates, while insiders tease potential developments that could reshape the team's lineup. For now, fans can only watch and wait, dissecting every press clip and locker room whisper, hoping for the slightest hint of resolution. One thing is certain. In the world of NFL drama, the Ravens just added a headline-grabbing twist that will fuel conversations for weeks to come. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.